Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the importance of mileage for you and your business. You see, mileage is basically an allowance given to you by HMRC and gives you an opportunity to claim for the use of a vehicle. Now, we're going to go into more detail what vehicles and how and all that sort of stuff. But ultimately, this video is for you if you have any form of motor expense throughout your business life cycle. Now, that could be that you're working as an employee or the fact that you have your own business. Either way, this is going to be a really important video for you to make sure that you know exactly how to use the best out of mileage. Roll the VT. Hello, my name is Aaron Patrick. I am a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer with a fancy new logo, that QuickBooks Chap on the internet, head of accounts here at Boffix, and also your friendly podcast who goes live each and every Monday morning for Ask the Accountant. Now, in today's video, we're going to be talking about all of the world of mileage, making sure that you understand when you should be using mileage and what it's used for. So first of all, what is mileage? Now, the first bit that people should always understand is mileage is not supposed to just be for the fuel. Mileage is an allowance provided to HMRC to cover not only the fuel that you use, but also the wear and tear of your vehicle, the capital contribution to your vehicle, the insurance, the road tax. Every element of the car cost should be shown within the mileage calculation, and that mileage cost that you are given to you should be given to all of that cost. So that's why if you choose to use mileage within your business, then you cannot claim for any of your business expenses relating to a vehicle. And that is something just to make in mind when it comes to the decision making and what's better for you. Is mileage going to be better, or is actually putting the whole cost of the vehicle going to be better for you? Now, 9 times out of 10, mileage is more tax efficient. And we've done a whole video on exactly why and what to look out for and everything else. So go visit that one to look into the whys and wheres of it. But for most people, with mileage being the most tax efficient, it's got to be a position where it's easy for you to actually claim for it to make it worth your while. You see, this goes for anything. If being more tax efficient is actually better for you, but is costing you a lot more time in administration, sometimes it's actually not worth doing. But in the case of mileage, as long as you keep strict, as long as you look at it in the best possible way, you'll actually find out that mileage is not only better for you tax efficiently in most circumstances, but also is actually the easiest one to administrate as well. So let's, without further ado, let's go into exactly what mileage is. Let's figure that out completely, and then we can go through from there. So let's talk about mileage. Okay, so first of all, claiming mileage for business use is a practical way to reduce your taxable income if you use the personal vehicle for work-related travel. Here's a step-by-step guide on how to claim mileage as a business expense. First of all, you need to keep accurate records. Maintain a detailed log of your business mileage, including dates, destinations, purpose of the trips, and total miles driven. Now, at the end of this video, we're going to be talking about how we can use software to help this completely. And I'm going to be showing you a practical way of how you can claim mileage. But in the simplest way, get yourself a spreadsheet that you can access via your phone, so you can do it while you're going along, and just record that information that was just asked for you there. So make sure that you've got your business mileage and the mileage itself, the dates, the destinations, purpose of the trips, and total miles driven. If you can keep all of that on a spreadsheet, it's going to make your life easier. And my recommendation is just keep that spreadsheet going as long as you ever need to, and just extract the data you need for whatever period, for whatever claim you're doing. Because mileage isn't just for making sure that you've got your personal tax or your corporation tax sorted out, but if you're doing mileage, you also have the ability to claim back the VAT element as well if you keep your petrol receipts or diesel receipts. So keeping hold of those records is going to be really important. Now, for this current tax year, 24 to 25, the approved mileage rates are as follows. Cars and vans are 45p for the first 10,000 miles and then 25p per mile thereafter. Motorcycle has a reduced rate of 24p, and bicycles, yes, that's right, bicycles have a rate of 20p per mile. And that whole 10,000 mile for 45p, then 25p thereafter, it's really important that you use that spreadsheet we talked about before to really be able to find that. And again, if you're using software, they will calculate that bit for you. Now, how do you calculate the claim? Well, multiply your business miles by the approved mileage rate. For example, if you drove 12,000 miles in a car, your claim would be 10,000 miles, that first 10,000 miles at 45p, plus 2,000 miles at 25p. Therefore, if you add the two up together, 4,500 for the first 10, 500 for that 2,000 gives you a total claim of £5,000. Now £5,000 as an expense is quite nice for a business, isn't it? Because that's £5,000 you can put against the profits you've already made, or even increase the loss if you need to, and reduce that burden on you from a taxable position. This is why mileage is so important. Doing 12,000 miles in a year, if you didn't claim that, that's £5,000 you're leaving on the table without claiming. So please use this video and make sure that you claim mileage going forward. Now, if you're looking at this video and you're not actually having your own business, but you're actually an employer, then just bear in mind these next 2 points. Number one, subtract any employer reimbursement. If your employer has already reimbursed you with some sort of mileage, then subtract that from the total claim. Now, if that means that there's nothing else to claim, the video ends here for you. But if there is more to claim, then make sure you complete the relevant forms. If your claim is under £2,500, you can use a form P87 where you can actually just claim for it online. It's nice, quick and simple. Going online, putting all your information in, and you'll get the cash equivalent of that claim back. And for claims over £2,500, you'll need to complete a self-assessment tax return to claim that bit. So if your employer isn't paying you 45p per mile and then 25p after that, then look at utilising those forms, either the P87 or a self-assessment tax return, to make sure that you can get the full claim that you are entitled to. This has been a great way for some of our clients to be able to actually justify doing a tax return, because they're able to make sure that they got the money that was owed to them. So make sure you're in that same bracket. Now, for everyone, and this doesn't matter if you have your own business or an employee, you need to be keeping those records. So retain all documentation, including mileage log and receipts, for at least 6 years in case HMRC requests evidence of your claim. Now, my biggest advice I can give you to this is if you're listening to this now and you're thinking, that's a great idea, Aaron, so going forward, I can make sure that I keep all my relevant expenses. But what about previously? Well, my advice to you is make sure that you set everything up now so that going forward, you have everything all correct. Be very, very much on top of keeping those records, keeping that mileage, keeping the receipts if you need to, keeping all of the relevant documents so that you can show, if HMRC ever asks, all of the information you have there. Then, going backwards, you may have to do a bit of an estimate, but if you have to estimate for a period going backwards, but you can prove that the current period and going forwards is all above board, then having that previous period as an estimate won't actually be that bad for you. If you can hold up your hands to HMRC and tell them and say to them, look, I'm really sorry here. I have only just realised I should be keeping all of this information for my mileage. Going forward, I now have all this and here's some evidence of my current situation of claiming mileage. And then if you use that as a backup to the estimated mileage you've done, most times HMRC are much more willing to just be comfortable in the fact that you have already realised you've done a boo-boo, already realised you're in the wrong, and they normally go ahead and get that sorted for you. So make sure everything's all looking good now so that going backwards you can put those estimates in and make sure that you get the claims that you're entitled to. Now, there is one caveat to all of this. Remember, you cannot claim for travel between home and your regular workplace, but you can claim for travel to temporary work locations. It's also important to note that these rates are processed and specific to the UK and may vary in other countries. Always consult a tax professional. If you're unsure about the claiming process or eligibility, then make sure you talk to someone like us who'll make sure that you are doing things in the right way. Now, it wouldn't be the QuickBooks Chap talking here if I didn't tell you how QuickBooks can help you with this situation as best as possible. So if I was to go and log into QuickBooks, now QuickBooks is an amazing piece of software if I do say so myself. But one of the hidden gems in there is the fact that you can actually record your mileage directly from the device. So if I go to menu, and then from the menu tab, I use the all option at the top right hand corner. You'll see that if I scroll down, I have a whole section dedicated to mileage. And from the mileage option here, I can go in and I can see some options. First and foremost, it's telling me my auto tracking is enabled. Now, I would highly recommend you look at putting auto tracking on, because what auto tracking does is it ensures that it uses the built-in GPS on the phone to be able to go and record that mileage for you automatically. Basically, all I have to do is make sure I have my phone on me, which, let's be honest, it's always going to be on me. And then I have to jump into my car and drive from A to B. And that's it. The rest of it is done automatically. You see, what QuickBooks does for you in that position is it goes through and it records the mileage, as you can see here. And then when it records the mileage, as it's looking there here, you can either swipe left for business or right for personal. If you go to the business side of things, so I'm going to ask you some questions. What was it for? So that you can say what the trip was going to be for. Then you can choose the vehicle and you can put that information in there. It's going to automatically record that for you. What's even clever is you can use the plus button and use the create rule functionality to say that every time that I go from A to B, that's either going to be business or personal, automating it even further. Also with that plus button, you can add a brand new vehicle, so you can have multiple vehicles tracked here if you need to, and you can create a trip. So if you forgot to take the phone with you for some whatever reason it's going to be, or if for whatever reason you hadn't got your mileage tracking on or whatever it's going to be, you can use the create trip functionality there to manually put the 2 locations in to record that mileage for you. Trust me when I say, even myself, someone who prides himself of doing everything above board and making sure everything's always right, I sometimes forget to do mileage myself. So the fact that I can always rely on this, and I know this is always going to be with me, means I get to the end of a period and I'm able to understand that I know that the mileage I've done for that period, I can easily go and put into place. Absolutely love this functionality. One of my favorite parts about QuickBooks, the fact that it's included free of charge as long as you've got your QuickBooks license up and running, no extra cost needed, and all you need to do is make sure that mobile app is activated and that it's automatically recording for you, and then you don't have to worry about mileage ever again. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Is mileage something you've been claiming for? Is mileage something you find difficult? Or is there any other tips you can think on making mileage claims that little bit easier for everyone? Love to know your comments below, so please do let us know what it is. And if this video has helped you in any way, please do think about looking at giving us a like, a subscribe, and all that sort of stuff to make sure that if you are subscribed to us, you're going to be the first to know about all these little tips and tricks and making sure that your business is being run as efficiently as possible. Because that's what it's all about at Boffix. We want small businesses not just survive, but thrive. And mileage tracking is a great way to ensure that they're getting back a fair return on their business use of a motor vehicle. My name's been Alan Patrick. As always, this video has been an absolute pleasure to do for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that sort of stuff. And I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.